The war between Russia and Ukraine, of course, played an important role in the talks in Moscow. President Putin personally authorized the delegation to Istanbul, which made it possible to achieve a relatively positive outcome in the negotiations. We are pleased that the swap agreed to in the talks was finalized last week. We hope that the negotiations will quickly evolve into a ceasefire and then into a lasting peace. As Turkish President Erdogan expressed to all parties, Turkey is always ready to provide all kinds of support in this process.
Omer Ozkizilcik is a security analyst and non-residential fellow at the Atlantic Council, and he joins me now live from Ankara. Omer, thanks for being with us. So what were the key takeaways, do you think, from this meeting of Hakan, Fidan and the Russians?
Yes, I think this was not only in terms of bilateral Turkish-Russian relations, but the Turkish role in facilitating a peace between Russia and Ukraine. And I think this visit was more to push forward the Russians on moving on and to ensure that the Russians actually come up with a reasonable list of conditions and at least reasonable Russian position to the negotiation table, because we know that so far the Russian side has been quite maximalist in its demands. And Turkey is trying to sweeten the deal, to soften the Russian position. And by engaging the Russian president, is trying to push forward this peace. And I think the biggest takeaway is that Russia still considers Turkey as the main place of negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, and that the Russian trust towards Turkey as well as Ukrainian trust towards Turkey is still continuing. And we will probably see soon a visit by the Turkish Prime Minister to Ukraine as well, where he will also try to do the same with Ukraine. So this is basically textbook diplomatic mediation.
And so how soon might we see another round of talks mediated by Turkey, and what progress could be made?
So in terms of timeline, there are many different technical aspects. It could take some more time. I do not expect that the war between Ukraine and Russia will end soon, but I'm hopeful that we are in a path towards it. And in the next round of negotiations that may eventually happen relatively soon, we will see probably that we will speak about more things than just prisoner exchange, and there will be more items on the agenda. However, that being said, this all depends on the position of Putin. Putin is the person who began this war, and he's the person who can end it. And we see that the Trump sham offensive towards Putin was relatively not successful. So the Trump's administration's position and Donald Trump's position also harshened vis-a-vis Putin, and Trump repeated his warning towards the Russian president. So we will probably see a next round, but for this to happen, to be successful even further, it needs a change of mind in Moscow. And is there a change of mind in Moscow? I don't believe so. We need more mediation. We need more diplomatic pressure.
Omer Ozkizilcik, security analyst and non-residential fellow at the Atlantic Council. Thank you.